All right, shall we start recording?
Oh, I thought we were. After all that. Mr. Warren, honestly.
All right.
Okay.
Let me just check. All right, Nick, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Long
Good to
time
see
no
you
see.
again. I know, I was just looking just now. The 20th of February was our
That-
last Spain Speaks chat.
That was when you were in Madrid?
So no,
Oh, the last time we spoke here.
yeah, on your channel.
Oh, okay, talking
Yeah,
about speaking
obviously-
on the channel. Okay.
Yeah, I mean obviously you and I met in Madrid after that. But
We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice day out in Madrid that was. I enjoyed that.
Well, the weather wasn't too good, but apart from the weather, everything else was okay.
Yeah, even you see, all your viewers, just so you know, Stuart has good taste in restaurants. I went with his partner and son. We had a nice lunch in a restaurant on the street there in your area. Yeah, quite enjoyed it.
And we also nearly got ripped off on the wine.
It's fine. Wine is wine, you know.
But I've never seen a waiter so eager to sell to
Yeah.
foreigners a
He
bottle
was a
of
bit
wine.
of a salesman. He
That's it.
thought, oh look, there's an Aussie and a Brit. That's it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Now, what's the weather like down there in Mijas Costa?
That is what the weather is like. A little bit windy, yes. But beautiful clear skies,
Yeah.
and the temperature for this afternoon should be around about 23 degrees.
Oh,
So,
very good. Very good.
Yeah. So all in all, a very nice day. Spring has arrived. No more of this Sahara sand nonsense that we've been having. It's been a bit chaotic, and the beaches, by the way, have been absolutely wrecked down here. They're having to spend a lot of money to sort them out, and that's literally all the way from almost down at Almeria, right the way along this coast past Estepona. The place has been hammered. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think the damage starts even up in Alicante and works all its way around
That far up, yeah.
the Mediterranean coastline. There were images on the television of beaches in Cullera, which is in Valencia or Alicante. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's in that part of the world. Mm-hmm. And there was debris washed up on the beach, sites that I haven't seen for a long time. Amazing.
Yeah, just and apparently this has been the wettest, or it was the wettest March on record for the Costa del Sol. I mean, that's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the other problems, Nick, and I mentioned this with another person that I spoke to the other day down there in Malaga, that a lot of those chiringuitos are very close to the water's edge, right? And the Paseo Marítimo, the whatever they call that, the boardwalk or whatever they call it, is also very close. And when a storm comes in, those infrastructures get destroyed, don't they?
Oh yeah, they get hammered. Yeah, I mean the Paseo Maritimo in Fuengirola is a classic example. I mean there is literally no protection there on the actual beach side itself. And yes, there's got to be a good 7 or 8 chiringuitos that are actually built sort of straight off the pathway of the Paseo onto the sand, and it's a major cleanup operation going on.
That's it. Well, nowadays it's illegal to build too close to the water's edge. You know, they have this coast law in place, which has been in place now for a while, but a lot of these buildings were before that law. And it's amazing to see that, just how close a lot of the times they are, as I said, to the water's edge. Amazing. Fantastic when there's no storm. But when the storm comes through, it's the first thing that gets destroyed.
I saw, speaking of planning permission, etc., I should have saved the article. This couple, I think they tried to bend the rules. I don't know if you saw it. Their house this week was demolished.
Oh, really?
Because they were in contravening some kind of planning rules. They were allowed to do certain things, but they just went ahead, for example, and built a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Right? And now they've lost their entire home. Just smashed to pieces.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I remember, I think even in Marbella, I think the actor Antonio Banderas was caught up in one of these illegal housing estates. You know, I think he actually bought. I think he bought property in one of these illegal estates, which I don't know whether it was demolished or not. But
listen, let's face it, in Marbella, half the estates are illegal.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, it's amazing how intense the building was in that area. You know, they had a mayor. They had a mayor back there 20 years ago that just gave housing, building permissions to every man and his dog, basically.
Well, you've got that area just the other side of Marbella, before you get to Puerto Banús. It's called Nueva Andalucía.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that area stretches right away back into the hills, and that's well known for just everybody going at it. All kinds of apartment complexes being built, planning permission and all. What's that? Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It was the Wild West. That's it when it comes to construction. But anyway, so what have you been up to, Nick? Traveling.
Well, travel's been sort of at the forefront of everything. Before we get to that, I must tell you about remember the Great Fire of Mijas before I moved in.
Your parking lot.
Yeah, the whole the basement parking area was just it's an absolute write-off. The whole water tubing and electricity infrastructure had been destroyed by this fire. Okay. It's taken them 3 months, but yes, 3 weeks ago, it was all finished. The parking is open, so now I have my new car actually parked down in the basement for the first time since I moved in here.
So you're off the street.
I'm off the streets. Yeah, finally, I have a place to be.
Are you taking Mr. Sanchez up on his generous offer of a 20-cent discount per litre?
Well, I did get filled up last week. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because, to be honest, I was unaware of how it was working, right? And I filled the car up, and it just so happened that the orange light was on. I was almost empty. Okay, so I thought, well, let me just fill this thing up, because I didn't actually know how much it would cost anyway to fill this tank up. Because, as you know, the car is still quite new to me. But anyway, I take the nozzle out, put it back on. Whoa, like €65. What? This is a diesel. It's supposed to be cheaper, right?
No, well, it's not. So this is an interesting point, because diesel now is more expensive than 95 octane gasoline.
Is it? Yeah.
Unleaded.
I've never tracked this kind of stuff. So I saw that €65. Oh, God, okay. Credit card time. Went in, and this lady just said, oh yeah, here's your discount. So I think I got it for like 52 or €53, something like that. €50, whatever. Yeah. Very pleasantly surprised. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sanchez. You've actually done something good.
Well, I tell you, everybody in Europe's taking advantage of it. The Portuguese are crossing the border and filling up their cars like there's no tomorrow. You've got French people on the border up there in the north of Spain also crossing the border, taking advantage of it, because Portugal, I don't know if you know, Nick, but in Portugal you pay around 25-30 cents more anyway per litre.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they're coming in.
So
and
they're all
taking
border
advantage.
Hopping.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you take advantage of Mr. Sanchez's generous offer? As I said,
well, you would think Sanchez would say, well, this should be for people who are either Spanish citizens or residents or something.
Well, that would be the most logical thing to do. That would probably even be common sense. But as we know, you just put out a rebate for everybody who's in Spain, whether they're a resident, permanent resident, or whether they're just passing through. I mean, you could catch the ferry. You could catch the ferry down from the south of England and fill up your car and head back.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Speaking of travelling, I obviously we have the Semana Santa, so you've gone off to Portugal. I did take a little trip at the weekend, and I was very intrigued to see how things were being managed here in Spain.
Airport chaos.
Trains and all that. Well, yeah, because you've probably seen the news in the UK. It is totally chaotic there. I mean,
have they got it under control?
No, because what they're saying is, so there's two factors here that have affected the UK big time, which for whatever reason have not affected Spain. We'll come to that in a second. This Easter holiday is the first holiday in the UK, in particular school holidays, where effectively there are no travel restrictions.
Okay.
So, of course, every man and his dog now wants to go away, right? Now, come on. These announcements were made like a couple of months ago, really. Everybody knew this is what's going to happen, but nobody planned for it, okay? So Manchester Airport in particular, followed by Birmingham and Heathrow and Gatwick, but Manchester's the worst, right? Because obviously with Manchester in particular, it's very much tourist traffic, okay? You've got the likes of EasyJet, Ryanair, TUI, and Jet2, right? Yeah. And obviously they come down to the costs. That's
okay. So you're talking about people that not a lot of international flights except for heading to the Costas.
Yes, the lot of the flights from Manchester are either coming to the Costas in Spain or to Greece. Okay, those are the two popular places.
Yeah, Portugal as well.
Yeah, Portugal, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they knew they should have known it was going to happen. The demand was going to go through the roof, but they didn't plan for it. So all of a sudden now they're running around like headless chickens, trying to employ staff at the airport, because obviously the airport, in conjunction with the Home Office, are responsible for the employment of the border security personnel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's been so chaotic that the CEO of Manchester Airport now has resigned. She's gone. Okay. And the other thing that's affecting it now as well is the amount of people who are off sick with COVID. Now again,
as well. Okay.
Yeah. So fine, all the restrictions have gone, but obviously if people have got COVID, they have to take the time off. And apparently the numbers in the UK of COVID infections anyway are massive.
Yeah.
It's something like 4 million people have got COVID at the moment. And of course now the mentality is, okay, which we get, the idea is we've got it, we're going to live with it as it is, right? That's the mindset now.
Well, it is in Europe at least. In tell that to people in Shanghai.
Well, yeah, I know. Apparently, I saw a video of people in their apartment blocks who obviously stranded, literally screaming out of the windows because they can't go anywhere. I mean, that's bad. They're 2 years on and they're locking down a city of that nature. Oof.
Well, they've got they've got the zero case policy. I
think that doesn't work anymore. I mean, in the early days before we had the vaccines, fine. But now so many people now have had the vaccines. You've got an element of herd immunity thrown in as well.
In Spain, we're looking at 90%.
Yeah. Now, what I do like about Spain, though, again, Mr. Sanchez. So, as you obviously are aware, they're going to be allowing masks indoors to be not necessary soon, apart from, I think, hospitals, some other spaces, and public transport is the main one, right? So that actually, as a policy, I do agree with, because, give an example. So this weekend just gone, I did take a little trip. I was originally going to go, I was actually originally going to go to the Ukraine. This is before the war, and I had to change my whole plans. So in the end, I thought, well, what the hell? I just want to go away and do something. Okay, so I decided to keep my flights to Frankfurt and back. But what was good about it was I had to start in Malaga at Maria Zambrano station.
Train
and
station.
Get the AVE up to Madrid, Puerta de Atocha. And it was quite busy. And by the way, they've got new AVE trains as well.
Oh, really?
I don't know how to describe the older ones. Kind of got this weird front end where it comes down and then goes to a point.
Quite an ugly looking design.
An ugly looking thing. Yeah, they've got this new one, very sort of streamlined. It's actually quite pleasant. Not particularly busy actually on that train going from Malaga up to Madrid. And then the airport in Madrid, well, that was busy. That was pretty much heaving. And actually, it was good to see. Okay, I thought to myself, this is okay. It's busy. You've got to wait in queues a bit to go and have a drink in the cafe or whatever. But it's nice to see people going away for the Semana Santa, right? After 2 years, it's been a very difficult time for us all.
Yeah.
So to see people having the confidence to actually go away was a great thing to see. A couple of funny things. When I arrived in Germany, the restrictions say now, well, you don't need a PCR test or anything like that. There's no forms to fill in. You just need the certificate, the vaccine certificate, or the recovery certificate, one or the other, right? So we arrived into Frankfurt Saturday evening, and there's nobody there. Absolutely nobody. Just get off the plane.
Frankfurt Airport, nobody there.
Nobody there. Yeah, Frankfurt Airport, 11:30 at night. And was there a reception committee wanting to see anything? No, absolutely zero personnel whatsoever. I think this is one of the last flights of the night. Frankfurt do have a bit like
a restriction.
Oh. Yeah, they've got this sort of a curfew between sort of midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning or something. So that was quite funny to see. And then Sunday, I came on my way back. Now, by the way, just to finish off with the flight to Frankfurt, as per usual, as is my way, because I like to earn the points, etc., and eat for free. I was in the business class section of the Iberia flight, and I was the only person there going to Frankfurt on the Saturday. Coming back, every seat was taken. So now this is obviously, and I could hear the people talking a lot. They were pretty much all Germans coming here for a holiday.
On their way to Mallorca.
Yeah, well, either Mallorca. Yeah, obviously, Mallorca is the favourite place, but I think most of the time, if they want to go to Mallorca, they can fly Condor. I think is the airline, or even Lufthansa.
Well, they can fly direct, but they can't
go via Madrid as well.
Of course, there would be connecting flights. That's right.
Yeah. So the whole flight actually was jam packed. Now I've got to tell you something funny at Madrid. Now, as you know, and for the benefit of any British viewers in particular, I think it applies to UK people. I'm not sure. You can maybe answer this, but certainly the SPTH, whatever it is, to be the Spanish health control form is no longer required. I think certainly from all the EU countries. I think the UK as well. I think, you just need a certificate. Okay.
Not sure to be honest. No.
Yeah, I think that there's one. I think the confusion. I don't know if you know. If you saw it. The government made an announcement here and then backtracked on it about a day later.
No, I think it was the
under 12 or something. Maybe.
Yeah, it was the Spanish tourist board in London misinterpreted the information from Madrid, put out a tweet or some other type of official announcement that Spain had backtracked on the the unvaccinated rule. Okay.
Fine.
So a lot of people went out and said, oh, that's fantastic. Let's book a holiday to Spain, which some people did. Yes. And then apparently within the same day or maybe even the next day, they U-turned or backtracked. Yeah, that's it. They said, sorry,
we got it wrong.
Yeah. We misunderstood the information from Madrid, which is not, it's not difficult to do, to be honest.
No, I agree. But the biggest thing is no more health control form, right? Okay. So again, in theory, all you need is a certificate, either vaccinated or you've got a recovery certificate.
Recovery certificate, yeah.
Okay, so, I've flown from Frankfurt, I arrived into Madrid. Now, because I'd been through there previously in March when I went to the UK, okay, I thought, well, I'm intrigued here to see what's going to happen. So, I don't know if you know the Terminal 4 at Barajas Airport. It's
the satellite terminal.
No, even just the main part. Okay?
Oh, the main part. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the main part of Terminal 4, where it's all the Iberia flights anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So, everybody goes towards the centre, and then you go down to get into the baggage reclaim area. And what they do though at the top of the escalators, so there's 2 escalators, right? And there's a couple of people standing there. Where have you come from? Now, and the idea is if you've come from somewhere national, you go down the left escalator. If you've come from international, you go down the right. The idea being that you go down the right escalator, and previously you would show your health control form. Now it would be show your certificate or whatever.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I just thought, no, I'm not going to be in that. I was a bit naughty. Fine, hold my hands up. I'm not going to get in that queue, right, and wait and hang around just so somebody can look at a certificate.
So you said you travelled nationally, did you?
Yeah, so I come from Malaga, straight down the left, and I was out at the airport within 2 minutes. What's the point? Yeah, there's no point to it, Stuart, because they're not actually checking anything.
Yeah,
there is no point.
Yeah. Well, you know, these things are changing so often. It's difficult to keep up with what's going on, and I imagine it's difficult for the airport staff as well. Just going back to what you mentioned there before in the UK, because it actually is the first time, I suppose, this post Brexit travel, right? Because I suppose, I mean, I'm not sure on the exact dates here, Nick, but the pandemic's been around for 2 years now, and this is probably the first time people from the UK are having to go through that passport control, which is adding to the chaos, right?
Oh, yeah, well, so the thing about so you got the double whammy going on here, which is first off in the UK. You got the check-in zone. So again, you look at the photos of Manchester Airport. The check-in zone is horrific in terms of the queues. People queuing literally outside the airport. Then you've got the border security part of it, okay, which is the bit that's been affected by all these COVID absentees, if you like, and the non-recruitment of staff. Because apparently they're saying it takes a year to train these people up.
Oh, really?
Okay. Apparently, yeah. Before they can be let loose kind of on their own. It seems rather a long time to me, but okay, it is what it is. Again, they should have prepared for it. I mean, you know, even 6 months ago, we knew this pandemic is going to be ending soon, right? Because the vaccines were being rolled out. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that everybody's going to want to start traveling. And like you say, after 2 years of it in the UK, so it's the first time, because I don't know if you know, the schools were operating sort of online, as it were, for a long period of time. And there weren't the same school holidays, right? So this is the first set of school holidays, in particular after the restrictions have been dropped. So, of course, everybody wants to travel. It's a no-brainer. It's obvious. Then, of course, now they arrive here in Spain. And now the Brexit thing kicks in, right? Because now they're arriving effectively from outside both Schengen and the European Union, as it were.
Third country,
yeah. And of course, you can't blame the Spanish authorities for this. They've got to do what they've got to do. The 90-day rule kicks in. How do you enforce it? You've got to look, scan, and stamp the passport. And that's happening to every UK traveller. Okay? So, I mean, yeah. Difficult one.
It is. But we're not going to talk about Brexit because people get triggered. People get triggered by the topic still.
I know. I will just say I hate it and love it. Bang. End of conversation.
All right.
There's nowhere for them to go with me now. And speaking of travel, I've got an announcement to make.
What's that?
You'll like this one. I am going to your homeland for a holiday.
Yeah, I saw you. You sent me a message yesterday with the ticket to Sydney. Was it?
Yes, Australia. Like many people, I would love to go to Australia. It's on the bucket list, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The problem is with it, because obviously I'm still working. You know, the idea of having a 2-week holiday. You know. Stuart, these flights down to Sydney, you're looking at almost 24 hours. That's a lot, and then you've got the time difference.
I wouldn't say it's almost 24 hours. That's the minimum, and maybe more.
Yeah. Well, I've done 2 flights here. I've looked at. One was 22 and a half. The other one, literally was bang on 24 hours. But one stop.
Yeah, but that's your flight time, right? So then you've got to factor into that. You're 2 hours at the airport before, or 3.
Yeah.
Then you got to factor in your 2 or 3 hours that you're going to spend in Doha, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got to factor in the time that's going to take you to get out of the airport in Australia.
I know. It's a big trip.
You're up to 30 hours.
I know. It's a long trip. right? And for me, and then of course you've got, what is it, 11 hours time difference between here and Sydney? It's got to be something like that, 10, 11 hours.
Yeah. Well, I think actually at the moment it's less with the daylight savings.
Okay, well, it's probably certainly 9 hours, has to be, yeah.
Probably something like that, I would say.
Right. Now, it's a classic thing. People always talk about, if you go to the United States, and in particular, when you're going to the States, it's not so bad, the time difference. You can deal with it. It's coming back. It's always west to east is where you get hammered physically. And that obviously now applies to Australia. So I'm thinking, well, if I'm going for a 2-week holiday, the idea of, like you say, 24 hours flying plus whatever either side, okay, and then the time difference, and I'm thinking, there's no way, hell on earth I would do this in economy. Sorry, I just won't do it. But I can't afford to do it business class, right? Because I've priced out two ones already for Christmas time. So I'm either going to go this Christmas or the following Christmas. British Airways from London, business class return via Singapore, stopover, £7,604. That's basically 8,900 euros. That's a lot of money. Qatar Airways, which we talked about in my last conversation, which is great, by the way, the best airline in the world, I think now. From Madrid, with the stopover in Doha, 6,368 euros. Okay? Now, there's a big announcement that's just been made, 2 weeks ago. So again, previously with our chat, I've talked about the One World Alliance, with Qatar being a part of it, and people living in Spain who travel regularly should make use of the combination of British Airways, Iberia, and Qatar if they want to go anywhere long haul. Qatar Airways now have joined the Avios scheme.
Okay.
So now, for the first time, so for example, in my case, I'm a member of Iberia Plus. Mm-hmm. I can transfer my Avios from Iberia to British Airways, and then from British Airways to Qatar.
Okay.
And then I've costed it out 180,000 Avios plus only 200 odd euros in taxes to fly from Madrid all the way down to Sydney, return business class. That works out at about 4 cents per redemption value per Avios. And it's an incredible offer. And as I mentioned before, I mean, like this trip I did to Frankfurt at the weekend, well, I bagged 4,500 Avios for that trip. So it doesn't take as long as people might imagine to get to the point where you can get effectively a $7,000 business class return ticket, basically nothing. Yeah. So that's my plan.
All right. Well, good luck with that plan down to Australia at Christmas time. Don't forget remember your sunscreen, Nick, because the Sydney sun is very strong. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it's the year after, I don't know if that's the year that England will be back down there for the cricket, for the Ashes. Or
the next one's in the UK, which I think is next year, right? Yeah. But then there's always a couple of years between the one down in Australia.
Yeah. Well, I might even delay it for that, to be honest with you.
Well, you could go down there and join the Barmy Army.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Huh? The Barmy Army is well known, Stuart. You know that they're like big style down there. They add the.
Sorry, did you say they're liked down there? Did you?
They're liked. The Barmy Army, the cricket lovers.
I wouldn't use the word liked. I'd use the word tolerated.
Typical.
Yeah. So liked. I don't think any Englishman that hops off a plane in Australia is liked, to be honest.
But the Barmy Army, they splash the cash. They have a good time. They drink. They have fun. They're always in good spirits. They sing and add the cricketing occasion. Okay.
They bring atmosphere to the game. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, all right, Nick, I've got to start the wrap up. My son wants to come back in and start playing with his Xbox, so I have to wrap this video
all right.
up. But we'll be in contact, okay? We, as you said, we thought you were going to be coming live from Ukraine, but you decided against that. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, smart decision, I think, in the end. It was worth a punt, but no.
That's it. But anyway, we'll be in contact, Nick. So I hope you have a good one, and you'll keep
enjoy
us up to date.
Enjoy your holiday down in where is it again? You're in Portugal. You've got the Algarve,
in the middle of the country. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the middle, sort of north of Lisbon, south of Porto.
Porto. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
cool.
All right, then we'll wrap it up. Good speaking to you,
then.
okay?
Yeah. Cheers.
All
then.
right, see you later.
Bye.
Good day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.